Hey, what's up everyone? Adam here with brahwegotthis, and today we'll be covering which race you should pick when making a character in the Elder Scrolls Online. There are a lot of opinions out there on which ones are the best for which roles. And so today I'm going to go through all the passives with you and show you their strengths to help you have the best understanding of the races before creating your awesome new character. Before we get started, I do want to mention if you want to watch me play live, I stream on twitch.tv/brahwegotthis on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come by the chat and hang out and ask questions. The link is in the description. Also, our brand new website has launched at brahwegotthis.com. Go check out some amazing work done by Josh in our community. This has a good bit of text guides and other amazing content there as well. And lastly, make sure to join our growing Discord of amazing beginners and vets. The links to the Discord, Twitch, and the website are all in the description, like I said. So, with the races in ESO, there are a lot of opinions on what you should choose and which is the best and what not. And with all of that, there definitely are races that are best suited for specific roles better than others because of their racial passives. But I want to throw this disclaimer out there when picking a race in the game. You can pick any single race that you want. If you aren't going for the top meta builds, it's perfectly fine to pick whichever race you want with your character creation. You may not get some of those added passives, but if you want to create a Dark Elf, tank, or a Khajiit healer, or just any other combination of characters, do it. It's your character and do what makes you happy with it. But for those of you that want to have in mind what races will set your character up with the most ideal situations statistically, then I'm going to go into all the racial passives now and then go through which ones are best for what roles in a ranking fashion. So like which ones are best for tanks, healers, magicka DPS, or stamina DPS. So the first set of races we're going to go into are in the Aldmeri Dominion. The Aldmeri Dominion is one of my favorite zones. So with the Aldmeri Dominion, you get access to 3 different races, and that is Khajiit, Altmer or High Elf, and Wood Elf. So we're going to go into Khajiit now. So with Khajiit, this is my Stamina Nightblade. You go to the racial tab right here. You see it's got Cut Purse, which increases your experience gain with medium armor skill line by 15%, increases the chance to successfully pickpocket by 5%. You've got Robustness, increases the health recovery by 100, and your stamina and magic recovery by 85. Lunar Blessings can increase your maximum health, magicka, and stamina by 825. Feline Ambush increases your critical damage, critical healing by 10%, decreases your detection radius and stealth by 3 meters. Now, for Khajiit, I think this is a pretty all-around solid class. It's more middle ground, I would say. It does a little bit of everything. You could do a stamina DPS with this. You could do a healer. You could do even a tank as well. But this class is a solid middle ground class, and it's also got some cool sneaking things in there as well. And I do want to mention again with the Khajiit class, I think that the best class that it's suited for is stamina DPS, but I think it's got some application there for tanking and healing as well. I just wanted to mention that. Now we're going to go to High Elf. This is one of my favorite races in the game when it comes to creating characters, and this is my main account. High Elf is one of the best magicka races in the game for healing and DPS, in my opinion. So you've got Highborn, which increases the experience gain with Destruction Staff line by 15%, increases your experience gain by 1%. Spell Recharge, when you activate a class ability, you restore 640 magicka or stamina based on whichever is lowest. This effect can occur every 6 seconds. When you are using an ability with a channel or cast time, you take 5% less damage. Increase your max magicka by 2,000, and then increase your spell damage by 258. Solid passives for magicka. Like I said, it is one of the best for magicka DPS and one of the best for healers as well. So now we have the Wood Elf. We have Acrobat, which increases your experience gain with bow skill line by 15%, decreases your fall damage taken by 10%. And then you've got Hunter's Eye, which is a stealth detection increase by radius by 1 meter, and then increases your movement speed by 3% and your physical spell penetration by 400 for 6 seconds after you use a roll dodge. Then you got this word that I can't pronounce. I think it's Jeffrey's Endurance. Increases your stamina recovery by 258. And then Resist Affliction increases your max stamina by 2,000 and poison resistance by 2310. Gain immunity to poison status effects. So Wood Elves are a solid race for stamina classes, bow builds, and stealth. And it's just a solid class to use. It's got a lot of resistances as well. So now we are getting into the Daggerfall Covenant, which we will start with Breton. So next is the Breton race, and Breton, again, is one of my favorite races in the game, and this is, again, one of the top Magicka races for DPS or healing. So you've got the race passives here. Opportunist increases the experience gained with light armor skill line by 15%, increases your alliance points gained by 1%. Gift of Magnus increases your max magicka by 2,000. You've got Spell Attunement, which increases your spell resistance by 2310. This effect is doubled if you're afflicted with Burning, Chilled, or Concussed. Increases your magicka recovery by 100. And then you got Magicka Mastery. Reduce the magicka cost of your abilities by 7%. That's insane. That is an insane passive. Again, Bretons are an amazing magicka race. The next Daggerfall Covenant race is the Orc. And Orc is considered, in my opinion, one of the best DPS races in the game for stamina. And so their passives are Craftsman, increases your experience gained with the heavy armor line by 15%, increases your crafting inspiration gained by 10%. You've got Brawny, increases your max stamina by 2,000. Unflinching Rage, increases your max health by 1,000. When you deal damage with a weapon ability, you heal for 600 health. This can occur every 4 seconds, so that's pretty solid. Swift Warrior, increases your weapon damage by 258. Reduces the cost of sprint by 12% and increases movement speed bonus of sprint by 10%. That's really awesome, and you can run really fast, and I love that. And so I actually don't have 3 or 4 of the races on any of my characters, so the next one is the last one of the Daggerfall Covenant, which is Redguard. And Red Guards are solid stamina characters as well, and they have some passives that basically really help with your sustain. So that's something to keep in mind too. So the passives they have, Martial Training reduces the cost of your weapon abilities by 8%, reduces the effectiveness of snares applied to you by 15%, which is really solid and actually something that a lot of people don't realize is actually very nice to have. Conditioning increases your max stamina by 2,000. Adrenaline Rush, when you deal direct damage, you restore 950 stamina. This effect can occur once every 5 seconds. So that's a solid sustain bonus right there. And that's what I was talking about with better sustain. So like if you're to use your, a direct damage ability, you're going to restore your stamina quicker, which is then going to help you be able to do more abilities over a period of time. So it's a solid sustain / stamina race. And now on to the Ebonheart Pact races. We're going to start off with the amazing brahwegotthis character that I have, which is a Nord. And so the racial passives for the Nords are set up for amazing tanking abilities. Like, I just think they're just amazing tanks. And so you have Reveler, which increases the experience gain with two-handed skill line by 15%, increases the duration of any consumed drink by 15 minutes. Resist Frost, increases your max health by 1,000, and cold resistance by 2310. Gain immunity to the chilled status effect. Stalwart, increases your max stamina by 1,500. When you take damage, you gain 5 ultimate. This effect can occur every 10 seconds. And Rugged, increases your physical and spell resistance by 3960. And so if you look at Stalwart as well, Nords have insane ultimate regeneration, which could be awesome for tanks and DPSs. You could create some cool DPS builds with insane ultimate regen, but their ultimate regen, I think, is the best of any race in the game, but they are just so suited to be all-around tanks. They're great races to choose for tanks. So Nords, this is brahwegotthis, so we're going to go ahead and go into the 2 races that I don't have in the Ebonheart Pact on any of my characters. And the first one is the Dark Elf. I actually used to have a Dark Elf character, but I re-rolled it into another Nord, so I don't have it anymore. But Dark Elves, the passives are Ashlander, increases the experience gain with dual-wield skill lines by 15% and reduces the damage taken by environmental lava by 50%. You got Dynamic, which increases your max stamina and magicka by 1875. You got Resist Flame, increases your flame resistance by 2310, and you are immune to the burning status effect with that. And then you got Ruination, which increases your weapon and spell damage by 258. So Dark Elves are, in my opinion, one of the best jack of all trade classes. You can use them for stamina or magicka, and they've got nice little fire resistances as well. And the third class of the Ebonheart Pact that I don't have, that I, again, rolled or had, and then I re-rolled it into another race, and that is Argonian. Argonians are amazing healers and tanks, in my opinion. The racial passives are Amphibian, increases your experience gain with Restoration Staff line by 15%, increases the swimming speed by 50%. Resourceful increases your max magicka by 1,000. Restore 4,000 health, magicka, and stamina when you drink a potion. So that right there is just amazing. Argonian resistance, increase your max health by 1,000 and your disease resistance by 2310. You are immune to the diseased status effect. And then life minute, increase your healing done by 6%. That right there just shows you how good of a healing class Argonians are. The other race that is not in the game unless you buy the Imperial edition of the Elder Scrolls Online, I do not think they actually have the actual class buyable. Let me look real quick. Yeah, you can't really buy the class. You have to do the digital Imperial Edition upgrade, and that gets you the Imperial race. It's right here. It's 2,100 crowns. This is the 10th race of the game, and their passives are Diplomat, which increases experience gained with one hand and shield line by 15%, increases the gold gained, your gold gained by 1%. Tough increases your max health by 2,000. Imperial Metal increases your max stamina by 2,000. Red Diamond, when you deal direct damage, you restore 333 health, magic, and stamina. This effect has a 5-second cooldown and grants 3% cost reduction to all abilities. So Imperials, again, are an all-around solid class for any sort of role. They are great for tanking, in my opinion, but they also could be used for DPS. They're sort of similar to the Red Guard, and they give you sustain back when you get that, 333 health, magic, and stamina. But they are a really good tank race, in my opinion. So the next thing I want to talk about real quick before we go into the rankings of each race is the alliances in PvP. So if you choose Ebonheart Pact races, so that's Nord, Argonian, and Dark Elf, you're only going to be able to play in the Ebonheart Pact PvP area. If you choose Daggerfall Covenant races, which are Breton, Redguard, and Orc, you're only going to be able to play in the Daggerfall Covenant Alliance war things. And then Ultramarine Minions, the same thing, so that's High Elf, Wood Elf, and Khajiit. Now, you can get the Any Alliance, Any Race pack. I've never done that before, but basically what that does is it allows you to play as any race in any alliance. So that's something you want to keep in mind when picking your race, because if you have friends that are all in the Aldemir Dominion and they don't have that pack or whatever, and you want to play PvP together, then you want to make sure you're in the same alliance. So we're going to go into what I think are the best races for each role now. So that's tank, healer, magicka DPS, and stamina DPS, and then a few other categories. So for the best healing races, I think that you're best suited for Breton, High Elf, and Argonian. The reason being is Breton and High Elf have insane boosts to your magicka, and Argonian is the same thing, but you also get that insane increased healing done. Now again, I think you're not, so I don't think you can go wrong with Breton, High Elf, or Argonian when you choose a healer. You could put any of those first, second, or third. I see a lot more, I feel like, Argonian or Breton healers than I do High Elf. But again, you do not have to choose that race to be a healer. It's just, if you want the best suited passives for that, the best healing classes are, in my opinion, Breton, High Elf, and Argonians. Now, for the best tanks, I would say that Nord is my number one for tank, just because you get insane ultimate regeneration, and that right there is going to just help you cast, your Warhorn, your any heals, any other buffs or anything you want to do. Like, it's just so good, and it's set up so well to tank in that race. Now, Imperial and Argonian are also very good tanking races, and you can't go wrong with either of them either. So those are my best 3 tank races. Now, for the best stamina DPS race, I think Orc is the best for that because of the passives and how they are set up. I do think that Redguard follows that pretty closely behind, and then I can say that Khajiit or Dark Elf are pretty interchangeable when it comes to the next best stamina race, and then Wood Elf, I believe, is like the last one because it's slightly weaker than everything else, and it's more specific, in my opinion, when it comes to the races. But those are my best stamina races. And then the best Magicka DPS races, my opinion, I like Altmer or High Elf better. I've seen some people say they like Breton more. Breton is very close to the second best in my opinion because it's got all of those buffs. You know, the 7% reduction to Magicka abilities is insane. And then the third one is Dark Elf because, again, it is a solid all-around Magicka class. Now, the best Jack of all trades race, this is kind of something that I wanted to talk about again, is the Dark Elf. I think the Dark Elf, if you want to play like a hybrid build or somewhat, like hybrid builds aren't necessarily meta, but if you want to play a hybrid build, Dark Elves are suited for that the best way possible because they have stamina and Magicka passives. And I just think that Dark Elves do anything. You could play a tank, a healer, a Magicka DPS, or a stamina DPS as a Dark Elf. So the last category I want to go into is the best stealth race, and that is Wood Elf. If you want to do a lot of sneaking around, I would go with a Wood Elf or a Khajiit. But the Wood Elf also, in my opinion, is solid for bow builds. I think that they just fit the like role-playing aspect of having a bow, and it's fun because you're kind of like Legolas, sort of. So yeah, I think Wood Elf or Khajiit is the best stealth race, and then I think for bow builds, I think Wood Elf is pretty solid as well for the race there. Now, again, y'all, these are my rankings, and this is what I have found that I like the most when it comes to these different stamina, Magicka, healer, or tank roles. Again, you can play any race that you want. It's if you're not doing meta builds, if you're not min-maxing, it's not going to make that much of a difference, but it will give you beneficial passives when you are leveling your character or finding builds for your character. But I hope that this guide helped you all out. I hope that this made sense. If you have any more questions about the races in the game or any other questions in ESO in general, again, make sure to stop by our Twitch chat on twitch.tv/brahwegotthis. I stream Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can come in the chat, ask questions, troll me, whatever you want to do. But come by and ask questions. You can also join our Discord, the Brafia. We've got vets and new players in there as well. And you can look at our new website, brahwegotthis.com. Check that out. There's great work there. And all those links will be in the description, as well as my Twitter and my Instagram. And if you guys want to support me above and beyond past YouTube, I have set up a Patreon. You can get early access to all my videos there, no matter what level you choose to be on Patreon. And there's a lot of other cool perks like vlogs and other IRL things. And I want to give a shout out to the new patrons that I gained this week. And that is Pachev Joseph and Wim11 and Mason Snyder. Thank you for becoming patrons. And thank you to every other patron that supports the channel. I appreciate you all. And remember, everyone, I will be posting some new videos next week as well. We've got some great content coming out. And just remember to have faith, be great, and I'll see you guys on ESO.